I said, what's up, fight fans? This is AmiPolizeiFunk, and it is the final show for Operation Charlie Fox. I am here with this handsome gentleman to my right, Romeo. How are you this fine afternoon, Romeo?
I feel great and loud and audible.
Great and loud and audible. That's how we
Yes.
like it, because this is not a whisper cast. This is a shout cast. Welcome to the show, everybody. TM Dutchie's in the chat. Good to see you, brother. He helped me make these awesome works of art here. We have the Operation Charlie Fox poster. We have the Golden Fox that is also a decal that you might have seen players wearing in game. So many wonderful contributions. Computer Heat is here. He wrote some of the hype text for the main event. I got Ciez and Festive Long John's here. They're waiting in the wings. They're going to be doing some casting. Later on, we're going to alternate. We have got a great show coming up for you, ladies and gentlemen. We have the Losers Bracket Finals between DevM and OMGPOP, and the winner of that will move on to the Grand Finals Best of 5 versus Aimstrong. Romeo, Aimstrong just tore through the competition. He lost one game to Korean Army at the very beginning of the main event. What do you think of this guy?
Well, I almost feel like it's a little hard to say after yesterday's winners bracket finals, which were unexpected, I guess.
Underwhelming. You can call it how it is.
I don't know if I would say it was underwhelming. I mean, let's be honest. I think OMGPOP has a history of shorter games occasionally.
Yeah.
And so I don't think I was too surprised by that. But I also think it means it's not super indicative of, Aimstrong's style of play or late game or how he might react in a different situation. So these three players are all so distinctive that I think it'll be really interesting to see how they stack up against each other.
They are distinctive, but if you look at the two guys that are in the Losers Bracket Finals, like if I had to pick two dudes out of all the 12 with the most similar style in that they're both just crazy aggressive. They just throw everything they have at your cutoff right from the get-go. These two, it's OMGPOP and DevM. They are the two most aggressive players in the game. Do you think that's a fair assessment?
I do, but I also think that they take very different approaches. So even though they have the same basic idea of cutoff control, they also do it very differently. For example, OMGPOP really likes the forward medic bunker, and then DevM, I think, is more of a U.S. Forces player than Oster. But I mean, he still does it with Oster too. But they have their own little nuances to it. But I definitely agree that they're both highly aggressive. So it'll be interesting to see how they go at it.
Interestingly enough, we got these two guys that are just ferocious with just throwing everything at you. And then you have Aimstrong, who it's almost like he's playing his own allied strat. Like Aimstrong is playing this hyper-aggressive British forces. The British forces just came out. We got the Comet as our poster boy for this Operation Charlie Fox event. And we got Aimstrong rocking British forces as allies. We have him doing this like fuel-less build. He doesn't upgrade his Tommy squads. He keeps them at 4 men. Somehow, he always picks good fights. He doesn't lose fights. He's got capping power somehow as Brits, which is counterintuitive. But he's capping. He's being aggressive. He's going for cutoff moves. He's capping around the map. And then it's this Centaur rush. And then when the Centaur comes out, he can almost close the game out right there with that single unit. What do you think of his British play?
Well, I actually kind of think that I want to applaud Aimstrong for sticking to his British guns. Despite all of the bans, he didn't have to play in the qualifier, so he didn't have to play through the Vickers ban, which was good for him. But in the main event, he still was playing on only 4 commander options. And I know that in Automatch, he was practicing with Vanguard a lot.
Yeah.
So with Vanguard not being an option, I'm really actually impressed that he didn't modify his build in any way. He just stuck with British core, and he's been making it work, and here we are. So yeah, props to him for sure.
Let's have a look at their player cards. This is going to be, let's first start, of course, with OMGPOP and DevM. That's who's fighting it out in this best of 3 lower bracket finals. Let's have a look at OMGPOP's player card. You can see there was a time at the beginning of this year where OMGPOP just dominated the USF 1v1 ladder. He sat at number 1 for months and months. It would be like he would play one game every 2 weeks to just stay up there. Wasn't it like that, Romeo?
Yeah, definitely. I remember that.
But then when Charlie Fox got announced, and maybe I don't know 2-3 months ago, then the ladder started becoming more competitive. Now he's 5th on the ladder, and actually his opponent is also a USF specialist. If we look at DevM, he's 1st on the USF ladder, and he's 1st as Wehrmacht. Now, something about DevM, our Portuguese kid wonder, stands for damn evil vicious mouse. He only plays 2 factions. Look he's provisional on Brits. He's never played them. He's provisional on OKV. He's hidden on Soviets. He hasn't played Soviets in at least 4 weeks. He only plays 2 ladders, but he's number 1 in both of them. What do you think about that? He's number 1, so he's like one of the best at those 2 factions. But don't you think that makes him easier to predict what he's going to do?
I think that in Company of Heroes 2, predicting your opponent's build is a lot less important than predicting your opponent's movements. Because, for example, if you're up against Soviets and he's gonna go 4 conscripts, then that's not that valuable. There's no build that hard counters 4 conscripts. You just have to protect yourself against the flanks. And since DevM is very aggressive and always goes with a ton of infantry, as USF, of course, and rushes straight for your cutoff, everybody knows what's coming. It's just a matter of if you're going to be able to survive it. It's a tactical thing, not so much of a build order strategic kind of thing.
So DevM, interestingly enough, lost in his first match of the main event. On Saturday, his first match of the day was against Paul AD, and DevM got 2-0'd. Now, I haven't had a moment to go look at matches that I didn't cast. I have been just packed full of responsibilities. I was really happy that this morning I got together that OCF fan art slideshow that you were just seeing before the breaks. I really applaud all of the artists that just made the coolest stuff. So I'm really happy I was able to show those to you guys. And so my priorities have just been, making sure this goes forward and making sure that we get to honor all the artists. And so I have no idea how Paul beat DevM 2-0. I'm very curious. Did you get a chance to see that at all?
I did. I was watching the game between matches of my own tournament that I was in at the time, but I was watching the shoutcast, and DevM, just like we know he always does, he went very aggressive, very hard against Paul, and Paul was doing a good job of defending, and he picked up some early wipes. And I think we both know how critical it is not to let that happen if you're going to be going with a very hyper-aggressive strategy, and it ended up costing him the game.
So perhaps the first game of the day is when DevM is at his most vulnerable, and that could be right now. So Paul sent him down to the bottom bracket, and in the bottom bracket, DevM just clobbered everybody. And to such an extent, he was actually really fortunate because yesterday, Vindicare X and Paul AD went the distance. It was a 2-0 in the end, but that last game was a 57-minute game. So Vindy was surely a bit fatigued from this difficult win, and DevM was just sitting there waiting for him. DevM was able to take Love Nest out and put him out of the tournament, and so DevM was just sitting pretty and waiting, all warmed up and casual, who's going to be my victim? And we were afraid. Cias and I were talking about it. Vindicare just played this horribly long match, and now he has to face the most aggressive player in the game, and sure enough, DevM knocked him on his socks within maybe 20-minute games, both as Wehrmacht and as USF. So DevM's path into this lower bracket finals was it had a big hitch at the beginning when he lost to Paul, but since then he's been cruising. So guys, we can't talk too long about all of this because they're starting right at the top of the hour, and knowing these guys, my goodness, if we don't get in there, we might miss a game. So let me just load up and try to get my overlay set up, and we're going to try to make sure we don't miss anything. We're really happy to have you all. We got to thank Relic Entertainment and Sega for advertising our event in their in-game banner and for hosting Sunday Night Fights. We've got support from Twitch on, I think last week we were featured on their homepage. We're hoping we're going to be featured on their homepage today. If you could pop over to the Twitch homepage and see if we're there. If we are ever there, do me a favor and take a screenshot. I'm really proud of those moments. So I would appreciate knowing about it. So I'm loading in right now. Romeo, are you in already? Are you in the game?
I am in, and I'm loaded up and paused at 10 seconds.
You're already paused at 10, so the 8-minute delay has already passed?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Okay. Well, I hope the game's there.
Definitely get in there.
Right? Yeah. I hope the game's there by the time I get in there. That would be quite embarrassing. Guys, check it out. Look around me, man. This is Jan 252's loopable stream background that we just published today on the Kotu.org portal. This is Hill 400, which is the custom map by Monolithic Bacon. This is the map where we played our all-star match last week. And, you know, Jan has, like, relit it at nighttime, and he's got the searchlights, and he throws the King Tiger down. Doesn't it look great? I really love this. I mean, I love the really green ones, too, on, like, Feynmanville and Angeville, and I love the Arnhem checkpoint, of course, because it's got the OCF HQ, you know, that yellow building right in the middle. But this one just feels, I just love it. It's dark and it's like foreboding and it's great. All right, I am loading in and wow, okay, so we didn't miss anything, folks. Nope, don't sweat it. I'm loading in here. But before I actually show you what map we're on, I'm going to read you the ban process because we have 7 maps in our map pool for this event. These are very well balanced 1v1 maps. I think, you know, we're going to have to do some stats after the tournament, but perhaps the main event saw every map played. I'm not sure. Maybe Samoski Winter never got played because it's so brand new that we have a Samoski Winter with no deep snow that people are like, you know, they've just had so much bad experience with that in 1v1 that nobody wants to touch it. But it's a lot better now. There's no deep snow, but who knows? Maybe nobody wanted to try it. So that one probably got picked the least. But I didn't expect to see Crossing in the Woods, and turns out the first game we cast on Saturday, Sias and I was on Crossing in the Woods. So, you know, I was surprised. I think we're going to see a lot of variety when we do finally tally up some stats. Okay. Oh, wow. I still have a countdown. That's odd, isn't it, Romeo?
Yes.
Okay, wait a second. Is DevM allies in your game?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Let's not talk about that anymore. It's going to be another minute and a half before we get started. If my referees are watching the chat, if the game does happen to end incredibly quickly, don't let them start the next game yet, because we don't want to miss anything. That's all I got to say. Bjorn and the Soldier, Swan VIP. My referees have done a bang-up job this weekend and last weekend, and just don't let them start game 2 yet. Make sure that we can keep up with them. So it'll be another minute before we start. Let's see. Yes, the bans. All right, so let's have a look at the map bans. A little birdie in my ear named the Soldier, one of our referees, has transcribed the bans to me, and I can read them to you now. So OMGPOP versus DevM, losers bracket finals, best of 3. OMGPOP vetoes Samoski Winter. There you go, first veto out of the pool. DevM vetoes Feynmanville Approach. OMGPOP vetoes Arnhem Checkpoint. DevM vetoes Kolodny Ferma Summer. OMGPOP vetoes Angeville. And DevM vetoes Crossing in the Woods. Wow, that it made it that far. And so once again, and we saw a lot of this yesterday evening in the lower bracket, we're going to be playing on Langrskaya. Romeo, tell me, why do you think players are gravitating towards this new and different Langrskaya that's been rebalanced?
That's a good question. I guess it's probably well known that I've always hated this map a lot. But ever since it's been changed, I'm very actually much enjoying the changes. I think it's way better now. And I know that it's always been a staple of tournaments since time immemorial, so this set of improvements to it just makes it that much more popular, I guess.
We can talk about them a lot more when we're looking at the mini-map. I'm actually in there on +5. You with me?
Yes, I'm ready.
Alrighty, here we go. Romeo, do you have your harmonica?
Yes.
Yeah! All right, I hope you're ready to toot your horn, man. Okay, fight fans, it's that time. Let's start this losers. Oh, my overlay. One more second. I haven't crossed all my T's and dotted all my I's. There's one more thing I gotta sort out. Here we go. Is it DevM on the left?
Yes.
Okay. And he's USF. Yes. And we have OMGPOP as who? There or Okave?
Oster.
Okay. There we go, guys. 0-0. It's quiet. Shh. Time to start this party. Are you guys ready to rumble? Are you guys ready? Here we go. Let's go. I'm paused at 5, Romeo. We're going to unpause in 3, 2, 1. Unpause. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right, Romeo, why don't we talk first? Well, shoot, let's introduce the players. In the northeastern corner of Langreskaya, we're back on the eastern front, rocking his feared USF. He's the #1 USF player in the world from Portugal. The Sunday Night Fight Season 4 heavyweight champion of the world, DevM! And his opponent will be fighting out of the southwestern corner of Langreskaya. He'll be in the red trunks, rocking the Oster. It's our player from Canada. He was the runner-up of Sunday Night Fight Season 5. It's OMGPOP! Oh, my God, Romeo, where have you been all my life? You win the Sound Effects Award.
Yay,
Ciez, take notes. Ciez, you rascal, you. We're going to see Ciez a little later. He's right here in the wings. We got festive long johns. We got a casting team. We're going to be rotating. Ami's going to get the pleasure of just being the obs man for a few of these. So, Romeo, do we have a chance to look at how this map changed really quickly?
Yeah, sure. So really very, very minor, subtle changes, but they're very important. The victory point moved on the right side, moved a little further south, so it's not as close to the north base, and the victory point on the left moved a little further north, so it's not as close to the south base. And also, one of the buildings is gone. On the left side, there was a building where the victory point is now,
right.
so
yeah,
that
there was a house
opened up
there.
that area.
That's right.
So that's pretty much it, and everything else has been left, as far as I know, exactly the same. But those small changes make just a world of difference.
Okay, we have a super early sniper. Whoa, what? 2 snipers?
We have a new sniper under our command.
Pop is going sniper. What?
That means you're watching game 2, because what I'm watching is something totally different is happening. Which would explain why you had observer delay and I did not.
But you said DevM was allies.
I don't. Maybe the game I'm watching is like a warm up or something. Then I don't know what is going on.
Well, all right. Well, I'll pause. You quit out and you join my game. And whatever you're watching, maybe they. What in the hell? All right. Well, see, here's the thing. Thanks to Barton, I'm offline, so on Steam. So if you could maybe ask the soldier what in the world is going on. I'm paused at 2 minutes 30, Romeo. And I'm in the most live game. What in the hell is going on? Okay. Okay, we got Romeo's mic happening. Sorry, guys. We're going to sort this out. Okay. Losers bracket final jitters. Here we go.
Okay, I'm pretty sure what was happening is some people are smurfing as DevM and OMGPOP, and one of us joined the wrong game, is what happened. It's not actually them playing.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, which one, though?
I don't know. I'm checking Steam profiles now.
Oh, my God. All right, you got us, you bastards.
It's very
Shirley
cute.
Barton and his cronies, right? So I can also check, right? I can look at their profiles.
Yeah, check their Steam profiles, make sure it's actually them. And
I can't believe it. You guys.
okay, it is Barton, by the way.
It's Barton. All right, you're a scumbag. Yes. I think maybe we might have to ban you from the next event, Barton. You are being such a scumbag. He just wanted to hear his name mentioned. Okay, is it you that's watching it?
All right, I found the real game. The real game has more observers, fortunately. Watching the right one, and I'm joining the real game now. And Barton is smurfing as OMGPOP. So if you check OMGPOP's
profile,
Steam profile, yeah, then you'll know if it's him or not.
Yeah, that's Barton. Okay, I'm watching Barton. All right, GG. So 2 snipers. Well, that was he. At least he made it really obvious. What a dumbass. Imagine if he'd played, normally, then we could have been here in here for quite some time.
Yeah.
Okay, so referees, make sure they don't start game 2. Just that's all. They're going to need to wait until we finish game 1 before they start game 2. Guys, can you believe this? Can you believe these guys? Scumbag Barton. I'm going to switch your emote out of the SNF channel, Barton. That's no more Barton face. This is GG. GG on the Barton's emote.
All right, I have the real game loaded up and paused at 5 seconds. Ready when you are.
I'm trying to get out of this ridiculous game, man. The funny thing is that I bought it. That I bought it. I mean, I had a 50-50 chance, right, of getting the right game.
Yeah.
and I rolled the dice and crapped out. Oh my God, scumbag! The front of code2.org. Yeah, what about front of Twitch? That's what we're looking for. Have you guys checked Twitch for us? All right, I'm closing out of this. I'm watching the chat. I'm looking at live games. How did these scumbags even know what map to play on?
Well, they can see it in the list, and it shows the
I
map.
gotta remove Barton from my friends in Steam. That would solve lots of problems. All right, I see them next to each other. So the one with more viewers is the right one?
Yes.
Should I check their profiles or should I just go? I'm just gonna go.
I mean, you can check
We're gonna live
their
dangerously. We're gonna live dangerously, folks. We're just going for it. Craft Keel, you better enjoy using SNF Barton in the chat now because the days are numbered on that emote. That emote. We're gonna change it to soap. No, not even that. We're just gonna. He's gone. You're gone, Barton. You're gone. You're a scumbag. I have to say though, well played. That's pretty creative. What do you think, Romeo?
I think it's kind of funny.
Yeah, it's pretty funny actually. GG, well played. Wrecked. You got us. So we're gonna have to keep an eye out for that now. Look at they're spamming Barton's face now. All our lovely subs in SNF are spamming Le Batron, Le former BFF, the BF just a little while, right? Best friends forever? No, he's best friends for a little while. The no longer best friend forever. The just best friend for like a year. BFY. BF1Y. Ex-BFF. All right, I'm loading into this one now. We should have been we were suspicious actually when we saw that our delays didn't match, weren't we, Romeo?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a bit odd. That was a bit odd. Okay, where are you paused? I'm gonna go to 10.
All right.
Where are you?
I'm at 5.
Did you reload? Oh, okay. Can you go to 10?
Yep.
And fortunately, my overlay still works. How excellent. Okay, guys. Cue scumbag Barton. All right, come on back here. Let's get this thing started proper with the right players. Here we go. Okay, Romeo, we're paused at 5. That was an excellent introduction. Don't change a cotton picking thing. Okay, we're going to unpause in 3, 2, 1. Unpause. 11, 12, 13, 14. In the northern corner, it's the real damn evil vicious mouse and not one of Barton's friends. Rocking the USF, the #1 USF player. He's from Portugal. He's the SNF 4 Sunday Night Fights champ. They got me good, man. I'm rattled. DevM! And his opponent in the south, wearing the red trunks. Appropriate, because he's from Canada. It's our Sunday Night Fights Season 5 runner-up who lost to Ding Ding Barton, that rat bastard. That's for you, Barton. I compliment your efforts in trolling. You pulled off a pretty good one. It's the guy that you took down. He's looking to do better in OCF, to put those runner-ups behind him. He's the winner of the Alienware Arena NA Cup. It's OMGPOP! Your first tooting had more gusto, but that's understandable, because we were all in the vibe then. Okay, so
yeah. Now it's staged, it's forced. It's not the same.
That's right. They got us good. Compliments. You're going straight off my friends list, though, Barton, as soon as I get a chance. You rascal. Okay, so OMGPOP elects to throw an MG into this house. He knows that DevM wants to come for this strap point. He saw him do it against Vindicare X, so that's a pretty clever build, right? To just go sit in that house and not let him through. So DevM's going to have to, what's plan B?
I actually think that is important to bring up DevM versus Love Nest, where Love Nest did almost the exact same thing. Threw an MG straight into that house right off the bat. And DevM, from this point forward, once he gets vision of that machine gun, is just going to be coming at OMGPOP's cutoff from every direction with these 3 riflemen. And if he executes as well as he did against Love Nest, that MG may never fire a shot, because it's pretty amazing how he's always behind it. And we're going to see if he can pull that off again. It's even the same map, same matchup, and everything. So I want to see if OMGPOP can position his machine gun in a way that's going to let him survive the early game in a way that Love Nest could not.
I got to throw the fog of war on for a second. You know, I mean, this is so tense right now. These early games, where the guys go, how they dance in and out of machine gun fire is so important. Now finally, the machine gun does put the rear echelon on their bellies, but rifles are coming in hard. But look at OMGPOP. He's got a whole bunch of folks there to try to defend the flank. They're going to bookmark the house. The last thing they want is rifles appearing from behind to grab the house, just like they would have. You see them dancing around in the fog of war. He's going to chase off that first rifle squad. He's going to chase off the rear echelon squad. He only lost 1 man in the machine gun crew. I think we can say nicely played by OMGPOP. The pop
Very
is back.
nice. Very nicely played. In fact, if you notice, the last time DevM saw Pop's machine gun, it was facing north. But when that engagement began, it was pointed straight at the cutoff. So OMGPOP repositioned it out of DevM's vision so that he would walk right into it. And that's probably what allowed him to take that engagement right there. Having that machine gun pointed in a direction DevM wasn't expecting.
Look at the way DevM moves and caps, man. He lowers the fuel in the corner, but then immediately runs off and grabs a house, gets a lot of vision out of that. You know, this house, check it out. You can see all over the place. He knows where these folks are. He knows that somebody hopped the machine gun's in here. You know, the DevM, the movement, you know, most players would have just kept capping the fuel. But DevM, he whites it and moves. You know, did you see how the rifle squad in the north just danced around that MG cone, just stayed out of its line of fire?
And by sticking around here in the house, he also increases his victory point situation, because Pop's not going to want to cap that VP under rifleman fire. And an M20 is on its way. DevM always goes with the M20 rush, 3 rifles, lieutenant straight to M20, same build every time, so that it hits the field at about 440. And once that arrives, Pop obviously can't counter an M20 in 4 minutes, although he's trying. He's got tier 2 up really quick, surprisingly quick, so he himself has skipped over the opportunity to get more tier 1 out in favor of getting that AT gun very fast. So he knows what DevM is doing, and he's trying to build to counter it.
Looks like the lieutenant, with the help of a rifle squad, and he's still got this one house bookmarked to chase off all of the grenadiers, and that, you know, he does have 1 LMG on a Gren, so that's ammo spent. That's less Fausts. You know, but look at the pack, man. The pack's on the way. The pack's 75% finished. There is the Faust.
Yeah.
There is the Faust. He gets the damaged engine. I mean, it's too early to perhaps kill it. You know, the pack's not even out. You can see it's just finishing now. So, but he will keep it at bay, and he will prevent it. You know, it's like a stalling maneuver, and it's amazing that he had enough map control. You know, how important was it that he stayed connected to this ammo? Because that enabled him to get an LMG, and that enabled him to still have enough ammo for a Faust.
He's still not in a great situation, though. He holds no VPs, no fuel, only 2 strap points, and DevM has the whole map, so OMGPOP needs to execute flawlessly from this point forward, or he's just going to get smashed into his base by early aggression U.S. forces. This game's not going as well as it could be. He hasn't taken any serious losses. In fact, he's got double DevM's kills, 6-3. Very non-lethal game so far. And there's the quick grenade tech, by the way, from DevM, which he always does. You can always rely on those quick grenades.
The M20 is fully repaired, and I'm keeping the fog of war on so that we see what DevM sees, and now he sees the pack dash into position, but his infantry is getting very weak. Will he be able to protect it? The pack doesn't seem to know where it wants to go. It's going to try to poke right through the corner and try to get a good shot in on the M20, but is he going to be able to kill it? It pops smoke, and he moves, and he's not able to attack ground through the fog. There was an attempt, and did it connect?
It did, but it still gets away with a little bit of health. Nice shot by OMGPOP.
That was a hell of a shot. I mean, he didn't get the kill, but just the fact that he hit the thing is pretty darn incredible.
And it's valuable because it gives his pack vet, and it also forces it off the field for repairs for that much longer. So that might help him gain his fuel point back on the left while it's still being repaired. Pop suffered no wipes during that engagement, but a lot of damage and a lot of manpower bleed, so he might be thinking about getting up a medic bunker soon. Getting a second MG42 as well to try and build his defensive line.
A second MG. Interesting. You gotta, people need to adapt and make changes. They're seeing DevM destroy people with his USF, and perhaps a second MG is what's required. We shall see. I'm glad that, Pop, look at that, microing away from the nade from behind the head. How did he even see that get thrown? That was fantastic micro to dodge that nade. DevM snuck up from behind that hedgerow. If we look at the fog of war, you can see there's just like a big blind spot there. But somehow, my Pop was just waiting for it. He must have been watching that. He must have seen the nade come hurling over the hedge and hopped right out.
And also, it's important to remember that they do get the audio cues, so the grenadiers in the house probably yelled "grenade" really loud. And if he was monitoring them, because he knows DevM has grenades, and he knows he's going to be throwing them all game long, so he's not going to just leave that squad AFK in the house and hope for the best.
Yeah. But mere mortals like us hear the sound and then watch our guys die, But Pop hears the sound and dodges it entirely. Another smoky in on the MG. Let's see. The one MG in the house is protecting the forward MG, which has been smoked. He's going to reposition. The positioning of the pack is essential. The M20 is going way into the corner. And he did manage to switch the crew, so he does have a Zuka squad. I guess he's got rear echelon dudes driving the M20. Another Faust is going to go in, and it's going to be hard for him to kill him in that position because he's behind that hedgerow. Although, Pop could try some sneaky through the hedgerow attack ground shots.
Looks like he's going to try, yeah. He's dodged 2 grenades on the right side, by the way, during simultaneous engagements. Perfect dodges on both of them.
We got flamers upgraded in the house, but DevM sees it, and there's another nade into the house, and he doesn't dodge that one. The Pioneers take a ton of damage. They're going to hop out, and DevM's surely going to go for the wipe. He's going to train both of these rifle squads against that retreating flamer squad that's 60 munitions invested, but it looks like the gods are going to be nice to Pop.
That second AT gun, I didn't even know it was on the field. M20 gets one-shotted.
Oh my goodness, Pop. Wow. Nobody saw that, including me. A double 1-2 punch from the packs. DevM's M20 pretty much neutralized. It didn't do a lot of damage. I mean, okay, here comes the Stewart, but Pop is clawing, man. He's hanging on.
He is, and he has his victory point. That's what's most important. So his drain hasn't been that bad. We're almost 10 minutes in, even though it doesn't feel like it. 10 minutes in, and he still has 300 VPs to work with. He's got 2 AT guns and 2 machine guns, so he has a good core of team weapons now to hold off DevM's advances, and he has lost a lot of momentum because his M20 is down. And if we just check kills again, OMGPOP continues to have the lead 23-16. So, Pop is trading very well, and I think there's a good chance that he's going to start taking control of this game if he continues executing as well as he has been in the last several pushes.
So, Romeo, do you have a pad and paper out that is designated the victory point tally pad and paper?
Sure.
Great, because this is a best of 3, and these victory points as USF, when the team plays allies, could be very important. If I think in general we've seen allies win most of the games on Longreskaya. We saw Korean Army's Soviet faction and his crazy ISU 152. That was the only game that Aimstrong lost in the whole main event. Was here on Longreskaya to Korean Army's Soviets. So it's important to keep your VPs up when you're rocking allies, and DevM has got that under complete control. You can see he's still got 500 VIPs.
Yeah, he works the VPs very well. I don't know if he's going to win this game with 500 VPs, but I'm sure it wouldn't be the first time in this tournament that he had a 500 VP victory as U.S. forces.
Okay, he's moving tons of infantry to the top, coming around, throwing smoke. He smoked, decapped the cutoff. Actually, he's fully raised the point. So, maybe Pop had a bit of breathing room. He killed the M20, but now it just seems like he's getting swarmed, and he's not really defending the points that he needs to defend.
Smoke is making it very difficult for him to deal with this. He has to reposition away from the smoke and reset up his team weapons, which is not easy to do, and his Vet 2 MG might go down.
Chaos.
There it goes.
Oh, it's chaos. All right, you're a few seconds ahead of me. The MG just fell. I'm at 45, 46, 47, 48. I hope you were able to pause for a few seconds. This is really desperate for Pop because if he loses all of his anti-infantry in the form of this MG and these poor grenadiers, then the packs are going to fall quickly after.
So they're trading.
The second
Rifleman
MG
might
is
get
down.
wiped. He's blocking a retreating rifle squad with his AT gun.
I don't think intentionally.
And they're getting laser beamed down by Grens with LMG.
That
They
AT
almost
gun
don't
is
get
just
away.
trying to run to the cover of this double vet grenadier in the house with the LMG, and he gets a shot in on the Stuart. Now, what do you think of the fact that DevM went in full force with all of his infantry? 4 squads coming around the top, 1 squad straight through the jugular to decap the cutoff point, but he didn't really use the Stuart. Granted, he does that so he can go in and scout the position of the packs, but you would have expected that while all that was happening, like once he got eyes on the packs and once they started moving, you would expect the Stuart to come in, but it kind of didn't. It was kind of too late to the party. Do you think that was just DevM not catching up with his own micro?
Well, he saw that the AT guns were pointed in that general direction, and they were in motion on their way to his Stuart, so he would have had to do some sort of weird roundabout maneuver. And during the entire course of that, his Stuart was firing at a squad inside the house, so it was doing something. It probably did a little damage. It's got 1 kill, so it contributed something. But most importantly, OMGPOP won that engagement by a huge margin. The only wipes he suffered were team weapons, which he can recrew and reinforce for half price. And DevM lost a full rifle squad and his captain. So that was a really awful attack for DevM, honestly. That went very poorly for him, and OMGPOP is going to get very strong now.
So we got a 50 cal out for DevM. We've got a pack howitzer. What do you think of that build?
Well, pack howitzer is always a standard thing to see on Langrskaya. Langrskaya tends to get a little bit slug-festy, so having a indirect fire suppression weapon that bleeds your opponent out over the course of a long game is always good on this map, and the pack howitzer
That was
fits
a huge rifle nade. Sorry to interrupt you. That was a huge rifle nade.
Yeah,
2 of DevM's
saw it.
squads are going to have to bail. Pop's getting
There's the
aggressive. Pop's got this Stuart in the corner, and he's got a pack. He's almost like using the rifle smoke, but maybe he didn't expect that 50 cal. The pack is taking fire from the machine gun, and here comes the little Stug, and that should give a great buffer for Pop to deal with Stuart harassment. Look, keep them all together. Look at this Fairbox. Look at them all bottled up. Thou shalt not come into my ammo point.
You know, it's kind of funny that even though Pop generally has a very aggressive style, one of the hallmarks of his strategies is that his entire army is always working together. He very rarely splits up unless he has a huge advantage and lead, and that's a big part of why he has survived DevM's assaults, because he has not even dedicated 1 squad to harassment of the right side. And normally at high level play, we're always saying, oh, look at him, he's all over the map, this guy's going capping territory here, and that kind of thing. But with these 2 players, it's the total opposite. They're not blobbing, I don't want to make it sound like that, but all of their forces are in the same general area and available to support in these engagements.
It's like they play the game the way we always dream it's meant to be played. When they make an attack, they bring absolutely everything. And actually, one thing I was going to ask you about is, like how secure does OMGPOP need to feel before he might want to send 1 squad around to the right?
Extremely secure, because there will be Shermans on the field now, and a Sherman can gun you down and kill you on retreat if you get caught out of position. So harassment only gets more dangerous the longer the game goes. If Pop couldn't find an opportunity to do it early game, he's not going to be able to find an opportunity now.
He almost predicted that these rifles would come back for his cutoff point. He's got an MG close to his base. It's the position of the MG is covered by his base emplacements, so it won't be flanked. And still, DevM manages to use smoke and white the flag. So let's see how fast OMGPOP can get over there and reconnect it. And the Sherman is on the field, and it is looking fine. DevM rocking the decals again. Might we see Armstrong rocking OCF decals? I know you made a little silent protest because we banned your rifle company, but perhaps they're over it, and now they're back on board as the pack howitzer drops that building. No more garrisoning of this one important house. That'll change the way these opponents fight one another, the tactics of that little area.
I think this coming push is going to be extremely important. Whether or not that Sherman-Stewart combo is able to decrew and get rid of Pop's AT guns might decide this game, honestly. Like you said before, DevM's games tend to be very short, so there's a good chance he's going to make an all-in attack with his vehicles and infantry very soon. I wouldn't expect him to try and slug it out over the course of a long game with his pack howitzer. And
I'm watching
come.
from Pop's perspective, because it's just so amazing to see how DevM works the fog of war. You know, Pop has no idea what vehicles are out there. Now he does. Here they come. Okay, so I've got one cone showing from one pack, and you can see it's facing the wrong direction. There's a pack way back, but he's all okay. Everybody's got to rotate. Everybody's got to rotate. Damaged engine on the Stewart. It's going to back into the fog of war. The pack gets a shot off on the Sherman. The little Stug is hanging out. He's reversing a bit. This pack is dangerously low. If some infantry got on top of him, they could clear out the guys that man the thing very quickly. Oh my goodness! And he's going to walk right into the Suka squad. The Stug is feeling very aggressive. He's going to actually move forward. The Sherman gets a hell of a shot on his side armor. Let's see, this pack backs to safety. The Sherman's getting low. The Stug is going to pump. The Sherman is going to back out. The pack might try to... It's the Sherman's popping smoke and trying to cloud the pack's vision. He's rushing forward even though this one pack has practically no health on the personnel that man it. And it looks like once again, somehow, the attack will be rebuffed.
But at what cost? He loses a Stug and takes nothing of his opponents in return. Plus, he's taking a lot of damage from that pack howitzer working on him from over the hedge. It's got 2 kills already. 2 kills on AT guns, by the way, which are expensive and sometimes difficult to reinforce.
Looks like he's going to walk the one pack all the way back to the base to get a couple guys. He has put up a medic bunker, so dudes can get heals there. When do you see this, like, a little bit forward medic bunker? Okay, I have seen Pop do it before. I mean, he likes to kind of... usually it's like when he's pushing... It's usually when he's camping someone's cutoff, you know?
Yeah.
Usually it's Pop's that is the aggressor. He's camping somebody's cutoff, and he's trying to strangle their VPs out. You see like a forward medic bunker. But this is more of like a defensive bunker to survive against the onslaught from DevM. This is so much fun, you guys. We're seeing this game played at the absolute highest level. It's such a treat. And I feel like, you know, like Pop's just making up for those fast GGs that we saw against Armstrong yesterday. He is going to fight and claw.
He just went all in on his fuel into this next Stug. That is it for him for fuel. He must execute and destroy big targets of DevM's now, or he's going to run out of resources and time. 150 VPs left. DevM's assaults are not slowing down. He has a Stug and 2 packs with which to basically win the game.
Yeah, that's a great point, man. I mean, he's hanging on to 1 VP this whole time, and now he's drained down to 140, 139. So he's eventually going to be forced to make a move on the center VP, but DevM's going to hit him again. Here we go. Here we
Stewart
go.
and Sherman moving around the left flank so deep.
Sherman's just in deep. The packs don't seem to find angles. They don't know who to shoot at. The Stewart's just going to do a flyby. The Sherman's getting dangerously low. I think the Stug's going to finish him off. The Sherman is down. A triple Vet Grenadier squad survives the retreat. Both packs are still up. Let's just
go third AT gun on the field now, too.
Let's try to count the losses.
Pop's lead continues to grow. If you look at Pop Cap, it's 51-70. He's been trading very well. He's 20 kills in the lead now.
Field. Where's this? Look at, okay, 2 here and 1 here. He's got 3 packs. You know, maybe he learned from Symbiosis, who had to fight against the USF of Captain Sprice. If you guys remember that game from last week, that game went almost an hour long, and Symbi transitioned away from Tigers and towards more packs. There was a point where he had 4 of them. But it's just amazing, you know, all these attacks. Look at Pop's army. Look at that squad preservation. Who else can keep squads alive against these just unrelenting attacks of DevM? You can see he's got another Sherman, and they're about to go at it again.
Can you give me a time sync before the fight starts?
Sure. 21, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18.
All right.
how does he control all this stuff at once? He's microing vehicles, he's microing rifles, he's throwing in smoke, he's clouding vision of packs and MGs, he's capping points, and never once has the center VP even been flirted with. Pops down to 111 VIPs. Eventually he's going to have to think about it, but, you know, like, this attack was a hell of a lot less successful or ballsy than the last one. So it seems that DevM's attacks are incrementally getting a bit weaker every time he comes in.
They will this time. Without that last Sherman he had, he was probably hoping to have 2 Shermans for this next push, but he's only going to have one Sherman and 1 Stuart. And if Pop was able to defend that last time, he should be able to defend that this time because he's gotten more powerful, unless he makes some sort of serious error. He doesn't have any teller mines down. Those could definitely help.
He's capping that fuel. He doesn't care that he's only at 100 VPs. We're gonna go into double digits for OMGPOP.
And he just built a mortar. That's an interesting choice. A 20-minute mortar.
What do you think about getting a half track out to reinforce these guys in the field?
I don't think he wants to spend any more fuel. I think he wants to try to get to a Tiger, and when his fuel is as precious as it is, a half track could be a full minute or more of fuel, and that may not be time he has.
He has so little fuel.
And he's fighting so close to his base that it probably just wouldn't be worth it. Plus, it's a very high micro tax. When there's Shermans and Stuarts diving behind his lines all the time, trying to pick up high-priority targets, a half track will just pop.
It's so quiet on the Eastern Front. Perhaps the mortar's job specifically is to attack this 50 cal so he can cap the center VP.
Or the pack howitzer. He probably just wants to bleed his opponent's team weapons the way they're bleeding him.
Pop's going to have to make a move sooner or later, man. 86.
Second squad of Pyos just got fielded. I think they may be sent for harassment. They're upgrading with a Minesweeper right now, so I assume that he's going to try and
you
break
guys,
out of
hey
the
rookies,
spot.
hey rookies, go get me the center VP. All right, we got this, OMGPOP. We can do it. Come on the field and get me that center VP.
It looks like DevM has given up on being able to attack OMGPOP any further. He knows his defensive line is too strong, so he's just going to camp these last 2 VPs and try and ride out the coming storm to victory. It's going to be his turn to play a little bit more defense.
Can you believe how quiet it's been for almost a whole entire minute? Another Sherman on the field for DevM. He's got 2 now. He's still got a Stuart.
We are down to 75 points.
Pop at 75 points. You know, it's of course you got to lead with sweepers, but you know there aren't any mines. He just needs to get this MG down. He's got a Sherman here. He's got a lot of forces around the top.
Looks like Pop knows that Tiger's just not going to happen.
Forget the
so
Tiger. Second Stug. Oh my God! We need to pause and catch our breath because when these guys go at it, it's going to be so intense. Surely, you know, Pop is a seasoned tournament competitor. Surely he is hyper aware of the fact that he's only got 66 VPs left. His units are trying to move into position. The mortar's creeping up. The pack is going to point through the gap. The 2 Stugs are there. We've got the sweepers at the corner. Another pack. Everybody's got to be in the right spot. We got flamers. Maybe these are the... Look at this. Like a football formation. He's going to lead with the sweepers. If they can't get the job done, he's got flamers to come in there and do it. And here we go, folks. It's time. It's time to see if we can cap the center VP. The MG gun, sorry, the 50 cal MG is plugging away. These guys are suppressed. It looks like some LG grids are coming. Pop, bringing everything. You can see the forces pushing forward. Here come the Stugs. He's whited it. The drain has been stopped. Here comes the counterattack around to the north. DevM's coming in. He's called it an off map. We're going to see some huge explosions soon.
Whoa, P-47 just locked in airborne. I haven't seen him do that all tournament.
The first run is survived pretty efficiently by the Stug. The top Stug is down. DevM pushing back hard. DevM coming in with the Sherman. He does have this rotated pack, though. That's going to be hard to stop. The Sherman's almost down. Another Sherman is sitting on behind the Stug. Another rotating pack. And the Thunderbolts are flying through. Nothing. One Sherman falls. The other Sherman's getting danger low. It's got double vet. Both Stugs are down from the help of the Thunderbolts. Both Shermans are down. How do we pick up the pieces? DevM has capped the top VP. DevM is capping the center VP. OMGPOP is down to 48. He's got to stop the drain. DevM's throwing everything forward. He's got the Stewart pushing in against an MG crew. A Pax pointing right at it, though. Those Thunderbolts are still circling, man. When are those nasty bastards going to leave the field? He's all out of tanks. I don't think they're going to shoot again. DevM's got a crazy Jackson coming in late, but all of the Stooks are already down, so I'm not sure what he'll be doing, but just look at DevM's infantry. He's capping up all the points, and the VP pressure is so intense. It's down to 38. This 50 cal MG's got double that, and he's sitting on the center VP. This is all in for DevM, man. He wants to close the door right here. OMGPOP has to at least white and fully cap one of those VPs. He's on triple cap. He's only got 19 seconds left.
His capping squad in the middle just got pinned by one pack howitzer shot. The rest of his infantry is moving up out of his base now. It's too late. The game, I'm pretty sure, is over.
10, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. It's still gonna tick. It's still 2 VPs to 1 white and flag.
There you have
What a game!
I don't even
man.
really know who came out on top of that engagement, but it just didn't matter because DevM kept his opponent busy while the VPs were ticking down, somehow managed to coordinate the capture of all 3 victory points in the midst of a huge tank engagement with P-47s coming in. It was just total havoc and chaos. And DevM with 500 victory points, that'll be easy to remember.
Yeah, it sure will. It sure will. We knew that Pop had to make a move on the center VP, and perhaps he waited a little too long to pull the trigger because, you know, the fight was still going on when he got drained out. DevM with just awesome counterattack around the north easily takes the top VP. You know, perhaps Pop wasn't ready for that. He knew he needed the middle, but perhaps he didn't suspect that he was going to get pounded at the top. Good grief, what a furious ending. I think we're kicking off this finals day just fine, Romeo. It might have only been 27 minutes, but it was action-packed.
It was. I think Pop was doing really well that game until he let his first Stug die to to the Sherman and Stewart, and he didn't kill anything in return, and I think that was probably just too much of a setback. He wasn't able to recover from that point forward. He was never able to mass enough armor and fuel and map control to bounce back. So that just goes to show how important it is to preserve your fuel preservation.
Fuel-based
fuel
units. Yeah. You can't. You lose a tank. It's such a massive setback. This last fight, I could watch that fight again at 50% speed. I mean, how amazing. The Thunderbolts coming in, the 2 Shermans versus the load of packs and the 2 Stugs. The fight was so intense. My goodness, we saw a flurry, guys. It might have been only round 3, but the 2 welterweights came at each other with just everything just all like teeth and knuckles, and just clobbered the living daylights out of one another. It's a 500-0 win for DevM. He's going to go up 1-0. He will have the chance in the next game to move on to the winners, to the grand finals, best of 5 against his clanmate Aimstrong. But let's see if OMGPOP, who put in a hell of an effort in game 1, can perhaps, you know, give it back a little bit when he gets to play his allies in game 2. Romeo, you and I are going to sign off. We're going to give the next one to Festive and Ciez, and so we'll let you guys enjoy a variety of casters tonight. We'll be back after the break. Don't go anywhere.